going on. The scene is unfolding. We've got a lot going on here. We've essentially got a protest going on. It's a protest slash riot over on the West Coast. We've already seen the East Coast, Washington, D.C. If you guys were on with me yesterday, I reported to you that there were protesters and riots taking place in Washington, D.C. And ultimately, there was a big mess right near the White House. Multiple protesters were arrested. Men and women, congressmen and women were rushed out of the facility for their protection. And we're seeing this again here today. In fact, it appears that the riots that have taken place in DC have sparked riots and protests taking place on the West Coast. And what's interesting is that I don't see a whole lot of mainstream media coverage on this. In fact, it was very difficult for me to find. I'm going to be sure to, after this video, leave some links for you guys to be able to check this out in the description down below this video so you can check it out for yourselves. Because literally, as we speak, these situations are literally unfolding. And if I don't know how many of you guys were on with me last night when I went live, but we were actually talking about Social Security. But one of the commenters indicated that there were riots and protests taking place in Washington, D.C. live last night. So I literally had to jump on and give you guys a quick update as quickly as I could while we were live covering that material. And, we have heard warnings from FBI director that we could very well see additional unrest and cities at risk. But I don't think that this was the type of risk that we were expecting to see. Now, I do want to give you guys the latest on what's going on. A lot of people are disgusted and horrified. Protesters in LA literally hit the stage urging a Gaza ceasefire. And there were dozens of protesters arrested after abandoning cars, blocking the westbound Bay Bridge. I mean, literally just a complete shutdown. Can you imagine? About 80 protesters were arrested and cars have been towed away after they blocked all the westbound lanes of the Bay Bridge just this morning during rush hour. In fact, the protest started around 7:45 a.m. this morning, and basically no cars were able to get through into San Francisco for hours. It was backed up. I will release the video footage in a future video. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel. What's going on, Patrick Lund? I see you, Teresa. Rummy, Steve, the boss. What's going on, guys? Thank you guys for checking in. Do me a favor quick. Drop a quick like for the video. We got 330 people in here. If we can get at least, I don't know, 150, 160 likes in here, at least half of you guys dropping a like for the video, that would really help out a lot. But yeah, I definitely will be sharing the links so that you can see this information because it was not readily able to be found. So I'm not sure what the reason for that is. I don't know if they're trying to keep something under wraps, but your guess is as good as mine on this one. And I'm literally updating the links for you guys. So if you do check the description down below of the video now, you should see it. I do want to say thank you guys for confirming you're able to hear me. Judy Jackson, Troublemaker 111. Who else we got in here? We got Rummy, we got B Server 19609, Mark Braun, Ali, Gary Miller Jr., Joe. Okay, appreciate you guys. So I don't know how much of you guys are aware of what happened last night while we were live, but I'm going to give you a brief update, and then I want to get into what happened, what's happening, and what happened this morning on the West Coast. So as we covered yesterday, this started on the East Coast in Washington. Technically, if we go back even further, because we've been covering this whole protest situation, Israel, Hamas, Gaza situation, where there were protests and riots literally taking place here in the United States. We initially saw that in let me see, where was the first one? So we did see one in New Orleans. New Orleans had riots. They literally shut down the Brooklyn Bridge in New York. After that, there was a shutdown over at the Grand Central Station in New York, which is actually Manhattan. And we've seen just a lot of protests and riots taking place, either pro-Israel or pro-Palestine. I'm not sure where you guys stand on that. Linda Flock, I appreciate you. You're the best as well. But literally, I'm not sure where you guys stand on that. Whether you happen to be pro-Palestine or whether you happen to be pro-Israel, the simple fact of the matter is that we got to be vigilant and prepared for whatever may happen, because I don't know where the next riot or protest is going to take place, but I certainly hope that things do calm down soon. Last night, we covered how lawmakers were evacuated from the DNC after protesters ended up clashing with police. It got wild, guys. In fact, lawmakers were abruptly evacuated from the Democratic National Committee headquarters Wednesday night after protesters ended up clashing with police outside of the building. And a handful of the Democrats revealed on social media that they were among the lawmakers evacuated from the building after the protests erupted outside. As a matter of fact, if you guys go to my Twitter page, a link to my Twitter page is in the description of this video. I actually posted a link showing what is happening right now, or maybe what has just happened. I mean, literally, people were laying down on the Bay Bridge, blocking traffic. Like people are laying on the bridge. Cars could not drive by. Flags are there. Police. I'm looking at it right now. Anyway, check it out after this video. But so again, going back to yesterday, though, the Capitol Police said that its officers were responding to about 150 people who were illegally protesting near the building at around 8:30 p.m. But it only expanded in the level of intensity from that point going forward. So the law enforcement agency also noted it evacuated all members, including Representatives Brad Sherman of California and Sean Casten of Illinois, which is rather interesting because both California and Illinois, specifically Chicago, we have seen protests there. In fact, there's the protest slash riot situation taking place on the West Coast in California right now, both in LA and in San Francisco. So it's not, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with the geography of California, but LA and San Francisco are like, I drove it one day. It was like, I want to say they're like 10 hours apart. So it's almost like the distance between like, New York and like South Carolina, or New York and Georgia. So just to give you guys an idea of how far apart those cities are within the state of California. California is a big state, almost takes up the entire West Coast. So that's where we are on that. Quote, was evacuated from the DNC after pro-terrorist anti-Israel protesters grew violent, pepper spray police officers and attempting to break into the building, which is rather frightening because that almost sounds remarkably similar to the January 6th, 2020 situation. January 6th, what year was that? 2021? January 6th, 2021 riots that basically took place at the White House or at the Capitol. So we definitely don't need a recurrence yet again in Washington, D.C. So XRP is king. Oh, is it? Reading one of the comments. So basically, Casten said that the protesters had surrounded the building, blocking all exits and entrances. Isn't this remarkably similar to what took place back in 2021, January 6th? If you guys remember, and I want you guys are probably seeing some wild stuff. Let me know what you guys are seeing. Hopefully you're not seeing anything. Hopefully these are isolated incidents. But let me know what cities you guys are watching from, because I'd love to know what parts of the country is viewing right now at 5 p.m., 5:10 p.m. Eastern time. So Beth Kinzinger, I appreciate you joining the community. You are awesome. Thank you so very much. So yeah, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Beth Kinzinger. So going back here, so quote, we were rescued by armed officers who did not know the protesters' intent. They knew only the members of Congress were inside, could not leave, and that protesters would not let police through. This is what was written on Twitter. Quote, forcing police to guess intent is irresponsible and dangerous. Hey, the police got guns. pepper spray, tasers, yada, yada, yada. I don't want those guys freaking out while I'm around. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying. So let's see. Going on, quote, I'm grateful for the Capitol Police's professionalism and that they were all safely evacuated. I'm also keenly aware that it could have been much worse. Absolutely. It could certainly have been much worse. Yeah, videos posted on social media suggested that the protesters were calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. And we're seeing more and more of this. I believe that, if I'm not mistaken, guys, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that we initially started seeing these protests started by pro-Israel supporters, but now it seems like there's more pro-Palestine support from a protesting standpoint hitting the streets in U.S. cities. That's what I'm seeing. Let me know what you guys think on that. Let me know what you guys think. I think I'm seeing a lot more. Just quick poll. If you guys think that there's a lot more Palestine, pro-Palestine protesters hitting the streets now, just type in pro-Palestine in the comments. If you're seeing more pro-Israel, just put pro-Israel in the comments, because it just seemed like I'm just seeing a lot more of these protests coming up, and it seems to be more pro-Palestine. I'm not saying which side you should go for. That's entirely your own personal preference. I'm just trying to identify a pattern here. Videos posted on social media suggested the protesters were calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Shortly after 10 p.m., Capitol Police said that the large group of illegal protesters were cleared out. So it looks like the situation only took place for about 2 hours yesterday in Washington, D.C. 6 officers were injured during the raging protest that took place. Demonstrators also prompted the Capitol to be placed on lockdown Wednesday night or last night, prohibiting people from being able to enter the building. So that's what happened there. House Republicans also took to social media to weigh on the incident. So that's what happened. Quote, the House office building in D.C. are on full lockdown due to violent anti-Israel protesters at the Democratic National Committee building near the Capitol. So it only makes sense if things were popping off basically over at the DNC, you need to go ahead and shut down any other political or congressional office building in the vicinity to, mitigate risk. So moving on to the West Coast, it looks like that incident may have sparked what happened just hours ago. In fact, cars are just now able to start passing through. More than 1,000 people gathered in the rain, shutting down a stretch of Hollywood Boulevard. So it wasn't just the bridge, but it was also on Hollywood Boulevard. Thousands of people. So it says here, hundreds of demonstrators in Los Angeles shut down a stretch of Hollywood Boulevard on Wednesday afternoon in protest demanding Joe Biden and U.S. lawmakers call for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. Now, of course, today is Thursday, but the hundreds of protesters in Los Angeles shutting down the stretch of Hollywood Boulevard. This was yesterday afternoon, right? So in the heart of Hollywood, along the palm tree lined streets near the Ripley's, believe it or not, and the Hollywood Walk of Fame, protesters were waving Palestinian flags, and they were holding signs, "Not in our name" and "Let Gaza live." More than 1,000 people, guys, that's a lot of people. More than 1,000 people gathered in the rain, including a group that staged a sit-in at the intersection with flowers in hand and shirts reading, quote, "Jews say ceasefire now," as tourists pretty much walked by and watched and took pictures and posted to social media. The demonstration, organized by the groups, followed large gatherings around the United States, in Washington, D.C., in New York, and Seattle earlier this month. Like I'm saying, so I'm definitely seeing support for both sides. And, I don't know it's hard to make anything of it, but there's a lot of people. All I can say for sure is that there's a lot of people caught in the middle, caught in the crossfire, and the people, the children, the infants, everyone. This is it's concerning that so many people who are effectively innocent are having to deal with this madness right now. Protesters have advocated for a ceasefire in the conflict as well, as an end to the U.S. military aid to Israel from the United States amid the growing death toll in the war. So now, and I'm seeing signs of let Gaza live. Okay, so moving on. Let's talk about what happened at the bridge. So that's what we just covered. What we saw, what has happened yesterday in Hollywood slash LA area where they shut down Hollywood Boulevard. This morning, dozens of protesters arrested after abandoning their cars, blocking the westbound Bay Bridge. So this, according to the California Highway Police Patrol. So around 80 protesters have been arrested and cars have been towed after they blocked all of the westbound lanes of the Bay Bridge Thursday morning. That's this morning. Protests started around 7:45 a.m. No cars were able to get into San Francisco for hours. The westbound lanes of the bridge could be seen empty as the traffic backed up all lanes but did not reopen until noon. So these protesters, man, they literally shut the bridge down going into San Francisco for a good 4 hours, more than 4 hours actually. And it's wild what has taken place there. And they're still trying to clear things up right now. Let's see here, looking at this situation. So I'll make sure to leave a link for you guys to be able to check this out. And in a future video, I'll release another video probably later today, if not tomorrow, with more in-depth analysis and video coverage on what happened. Images are showing that the cars are blocking the lanes on the eastern span of the bridge as protesters call for a ceasefire in the Middle East. Protesters, get this, guys, the protesters were literally lying down with white sheets over their bodies that said, I don't even want to read what it said, but I'll put a link in the description down below this video so you can follow up on this. But there's some things on here. I'm just trying to keep it clean. So originally, the CHP officials said 50 arrests were made, but the San Francisco Sheriff's Office updated us later saying that there were 80 protesters that were cited and ultimately released. At least 15 cars were towed as well. But guys, yeah, the situation's escalating. I wanted to just put the community on, let you guys know what's going on. And I hope you and your families are being safe. We got like 600 people in here. If you guys could kindly drop a like for the video, that definitely helps spread the message and get it out to more people who need to be updated on what's going on. Because again, it was really hard for me to find a lot of coverage and information on this breaking news that's taking place around us. So, I personally appreciate being informed. I think you guys do too. So I just want to thank you for hanging out with me. If this is your first time hearing about this, please let me know in the comment section down below. Just let me know if just type first time hearing this or something like that. But yeah, I don't know why they're not sharing more information on this. One thing I do want to share with you guys is the new YouTube channel called Truth Exposed. That's right, guys. The new YouTube channel is called Truth Exposed. I'd love to have you guys over there checking it out. I'll be sure to drop a link in the description of this video for the new channel, Truth Exposed, so you can check it out over there. In fact, some of the newest video releases on that channel that you guys are really enjoying. The newest one is The Secret Ruling of the World, Exposing the Richest Families. And there's another one over here. Who can actually afford to buy a house right now? Is this real estate market a trap? There's a lot of really cool, interesting documentaries on that channel that I wanted to share with you guys that I didn't feel like it was really appropriate for this channel. So I started a new channel for those of you guys who are into, if you're into interesting documentaries, then you can check out Truth Exposed, link in the description down below. But I'm gonna keep you guys posted on everything that's going on like I've always done. If you appreciate that, like the video and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on when I go live or whenever I release new videos. And God bless. I appreciate you guys. Take care. Be safe.